When we think about East Indonesia, what most comes to mind is the beauty of its natural landscape, stretching as far as the eyes can see. Lines of solid rock mountains, green valleys that makes perfect the island's charm. These steps takes us to the self-journey that makes one closer and gives a better understanding towards the message of one's devotion to its Almighty Creator. Larantuka is the capital of East Flores Regency of East Nusa Tenggara. The locals' people's strong belief towards Catholicism makes this regency as one of the historical sites of how Catholicism was first introduced in Indonesia. Therefore, having Larantuka dubbed as the city of Reina Rosari. Historical artifacts and religious rites are strongly preserved with traditions that strive strongly until this very day. Larantuka, the city of miracles, which is blessed by God with his message of love and peace.
Hi everyone! Here in Indonesia, we are not only blessed by God Almighty with the beautiful nature, but also the diversity of ethnics and culture within it. All of these elements are intertwined in such peaceful harmony, following with the sing with the lives of the local people. One of them is in Larantuka, East Nusa Tenggara. Through Samana Santa, we bear witness to the beauty of message of peace conveyed and a string of processions of Easter celebration for the Catholics.
Lia lampu menyala di Pantai Uste.
In general, Larantuka is inhabited by locals of the Lamaholot tribe. They live in Nagi, or villages that are located at valleys, high mountain slopes to coastal villages. In addition to mastering in cultivation, the people of Lamaholot also work as fishermen that we can find along the shores of East Flores, Adonara, Alor, Solor, and all the way to Lambata. Locals here not only having a strong obedience to the teachings of the ancestors, but also their strong belief to the church, where their belief in Catholic faith grows in accordance to devotion to the local wisdom with the local community practice daily. With such, or the teachings of doing good and being kind to others is what makes living in Larantuka becomes more and more peaceful. Not all people of Lamaholot follows the belief in Catholicism, as there are also locals who live outside the Catholic faith. Time could never stop the process of acculturation of other religious beliefs brought by people from outside the island. Muslim villages are starting to grow in numbers here. Their life are blending perfectly with the Catholic community under the spirit of being as one family of the Lamaholot tribe and taking good care of each other.
Noe kendatina beroe Noe kendatina beroe
Dalam nama Bapa, Putra, dan Roh Kudus. Amin. Tuhan Yesus bersama Bunda Maria yang sudah mengikuti jalan salib-Mu dengan kekuatan, ketabahan, dan cinta kasih-Nya. Dan Engkau yang telah menunjukkan kerelaan-Mu berkorban untuk menyelamatkan kami semua. Hari ini kami berkumpul di kaki salib-Mu. Hari ini kami berkumpul bersama dalam keluarga ini. Kami mau merayakan kemenangan-Mu dan kemenangan kami bersama.
The Larantuka locals' religious belief can not only be seen through the cathedral and chapel built in here. The Catholic faith grows stronger, and the belief is being practiced in the locals' daily lives. The true love of Maria can be felt in every breath of life, and nothing could ever break such existence. The blessings and miracles being said in prayers delivered individually, in a group, family, and also within the community. Their Catholic faith grew long before the people of Lamaholot knew of such religion. The Catholic faith exists because of the presence of Tuan Ma, who they make sacred.
Jadi iman Katolik kita itu ada proses inkulturasi gereja masuk alam budaya kita loh. Saya pernah cerita kemana-mana bahwa Bunda Maria masuk dulu baru Yesus. Dan Bunda Maria masuk sebagai satu kekuatan yang dianggap sangat tinggi dan orang mengenal Bunda Maria yang hari ini tidak seperti ketika pertama kali dia masuk. Dan itu masuk ke alam budaya. Ada ritual-ritual orang memberi sesajen, orang pergi berdoa di situ tanpa agama loh waktu itu. Sampai dengan beberapa pastor orang Portugal, pastor-pastor Dominikan yang memberi nama ke Bunda Maria yang kami dulu tidak tahu. Kami hanya tahu bahwa ini satu benda sakral yang goib, yang punya kekuatan mengabulkan banyak permohonan. Sampai akhirnya imam itu mengatakan, loh ini Bunda Maria, mamanya Yesus yang saya ceritain itu. Jadi sudah membudaya sebelum agama masuk tentang Tuan Ma atau Bunda Maria. Jadi kekatolikan kita sebenarnya sudah terasah ketika Bunda Maria masuk sebagai sebuah benda sakral yang kita belum tahu ini agama apa, dari mana, kekuatan seperti apa yang ada. Jadi memang sudah kita katakan bahwa sudah terasimilasi dengan proses hidup orang Larantuka sendiri terkait Tuan Ma itu.
%80 of Larantuka residents are Catholics, as the rest would follow other religious beliefs recognized in Indonesia. Muslims live in a number of villages, such as in New Kampung, Posto village, and Wuri village. Even mixed marriages of different beliefs are performed here and is not something to be worried about.
Dalam peradaban Lama Holot itu, dalam kerangka menjalin hubungan antara satu dengan yang lain di rumah besar Kabupaten Flores Timur ini, maka baik umat Islam, umat Katolik, umat Hindu, umat Buddha, dan umat Kristen itu tunduk pada satu peradaban yang kita sebut dengan Sogo Onam, uli adat, ya, yang mengandung maksud bahwa kita melakukan hablum minan nas pada tataran Islam, hubungan antar sesama manusia, tetapi dalam koridor lita'arafu. Kita saling kenal mengenal dengan isi kandungannya adalah damai, sejahtera, adil, cinta, kasih, dan sayang. Ya. Kalau setiap hubungan antar sesama kita selalu dibelai dengan belayan kasih sayang, insya Allah hasilnya akan nyaman, hasilnya akan damai.
The history of the land began with the role of kings that took power in the 14th century. Historical record continued until the colonial times, when colonials started to control some of the territory of Flores, as they were interested to take control of herbs and other natural sources back in the 16th century. It was the Portuguese who colonized Nusa Tenggara until it strongly left the effects of the Portuguese colony, especially in the cultural aspect, including changing the kingdom system into a system with a sense of Catholic culture. The present king of Larantuka is Don Andrés Martínez Díaz Vieira de Coutinho. He is heir of the Larantuka kingdom family, who still faithfully holds the tribal traditions in Larantuka.
Dengan adanya tradisi atau budaya Lama Holot, budaya kami, itu di dalam sudah diwarisi oleh warisan leluhur, warisan leluhur dari kami, bahwa seluruh masyarakat kerajaan Lama Holot harus memiliki kemurnian hidup. Di dalam kemurnian itu ada beberapa faktor, baik kita berpikir, berbicara, berperilaku, harus jujur, adil, tidak keberpihakan, saling menolong, saling menghormati. Jadi inilah yang harus diresapi oleh keturunan kami selanjutnya.
After Catholic belief was introduced under the Portuguese influence, the ruling king has been baptized under a Christian name, in addition to the title and real name, followed by the Díaz Vieira de Coutinho family name with the title of Don. As a Catholic kingdom, the king has power and a role in religious affairs. The king has the authority to regulate the Samana activities as well as prayer during the times before Easter in turns. Additionally, the king is also considered as a figure who has the right to open the doors of Tuan Ma Chapel to start all worship services that will be held. The king also has an important role in the Good Friday ritual here. King Larantuka, who passed away in previous generations, were buried at the Posto Hills. The hill is part of the history of the beginning of Larantuka Kingdom. This site is where kings of Larantuka were buried, located at the hill's top that manifests the greatness and protection to the people of Larantuka from the ancestors. This hill is a historical piece of Larantuka which acts as a place of pilgrimage for Larantuka locals of the Rena City.
Dengan adanya situs ritual yang begitu banyaknya di kota tua Larantuka yang sudah berdiri sejak ratusan tahun lalu, dan ini menjadi pusat siara dunia sudah sekian lama. Lalu Larantuka juga terkenal sebagai sebuah kerajaan Katolik yang hampir tidak ada di seluruh Indonesia. Maka saya sebagai warga kota Larantuka dan salah satu turunan Ilejadi ini melalui Raja Gaspar Seberang yang makamnya ada di sini, mengharapkan agar suatu waktu tidak lama ya, Larantuka harus menjadi pusat siarah dunia. Pusat siarah dengan kekhasan kekatolikan. Saya mengatakan di sini itu bukan fanatisme Katolik tapi heroisme Katolik yang dibawa oleh raja-raja hingga hari ini.
Larantuka is also widely known as Vatican's foyer in Indonesia. It is so because of the many religious sites that represents Catholic belief and the traditions that are well preserved until this day. Hundreds of chapels are spread from the villages, reaching to the homes of locals. Religious services are held in the midst of the differences that exist, but yet still live in harmony. As year passed from the 5th century until this very day, religious services to welcome Easter are held annually here. Millions of people from across the world would come here annually to be part of the sacred ritual. The Holy Passage ritual, taking place for 7 days straight, are organized by Catholics of Larantuka. They come to pray in chapels and remembering their ancestors who have passed. Therefore, this city deserves to be called a city for people to perform their religious pilgrimage.
Sebenarnya penamaan Serambi Vatikan itu disebut untuk mewakili Larantuka sebagai sebuah pusat agama Katolik di Indonesia. Dan Larantuka tadi saya berbicara sebuah negeri, sebenarnya Larantuka adalah satu kerajaan Katolik satu-satunya di Indonesia. Nah, karena kerajaan Katolik satu-satunya, tidak salah bahwa kita itu mengadopsi nama Serambi Vatikan untuk Larantuka karena di seluruh bagian timur Indonesia Larantuka adalah pusat kekatolikan, pusat ritual, pusat devosi. Yang di Eropa itu kita mengenal Roma sebagai kota pusat kekatolikan, tapi Vatikan adalah sentra dari kekatolikan itu sendiri. Dan ketika berbicara Larantuka, kita mengadopsinya sebagai sentra kekatolikan di luar Vatikan, maka kita sebut Serambi atau pintu masuk ke Vatikan ya, Larantuka ini Serambinya.
Larantuka, every corner, act as a long contemplation about faith. Prayers that continue to be made. Hope is expected, and the sense of gratitude that is always felt. Looking back, the community already has its own religion called Amalera Wulan Ina Tanaekan, the ruler of the sky and earth. Talking about Tuan Ma is a religious history that the local indigenous community, with the hope it brings peace to residents of Larantuka. The statue of Tuan Ma has been respected by the local community at the time. It feels that the statue oftentimes brings miracles to the people's life struggles. People's belief of Tuan Ma dates back 5 centuries. Based on research and many written sources in Dutch and Portuguese, the statue of Tuan Ma was found in 1510 at the Larantuka beach. It was suspected that the statue was originally of Hail Mary in the Catholic faith, which was stranded when a Portuguese or Spanish ship was left wrecked in Larantuka. At this hill right here was when Tuan Ma was crowned by head of Lewonama village before it was finally placed at the chapel of Tuan Ma.
Kebudayaan Lama Holot itulah yang membuat ritual keagamaan kita jadi seperti hari ini. Jadi sebelum kekatolikan masuk, yang datang ke Bunda Maria, waktu itu maaf ya, saya bisa sebut Bunda Maria aja, itu semua orang loh, non-religi, di luar agama apapun. Nah, ritual itu yang mempersatukan kita dengan tradisi kita yang dijalankan sampai hari ini. Jadi waktu dulu orang bawa sesajen itu dia belum beragama loh ini. Tanda petik mereka belum beragama kan. Jadi semua orang Lama Holot yang merasa mau ditolong oleh sesuatu yang mereka sebut yang gaib di dalam diri patung itu, datang bersama-sama. Dan itu sampai hari ini loh. Agama soal hati ya Mas ya. Tapi kebudayaan itu soal etika, soal pergaulan. Dan ketika kami berbicara tentang kebudayaan Lama Holot, kami meninggalkan agama apapun agamanya. Jadi Larantuka itu tokoh pemersatu itu, ya Bunda Maria itu. Ini tokoh pemersatu dalam konteks sejarah, juga dalam konteks agama, juga dalam konteks kebudayaan. Bunda Maria adalah sentra devosi. Bukan sentra dalam arti kita meninggalkan Yesus lalu menempatkan Maria jadi number 1, tidak. Maria adalah bagian entitas dari keberadaan Yesus di antara kita. Tapi kami merasa kenapa disebut Tuan Ma? Karena ini sesuatu yang benar-benar in dengan kepribadian orang Lama Holot sendiri sih. Mama itu sangat dihormati.
Traditional rituals are oftentimes delivered in the local language or even in Portuguese. The city's history can never be separated from the Portuguese colony, which dated back 500 years ago or in the 16th century. Being colonized for hundreds of years have made the Portuguese culture blended strongly with the many religious rites that exist here in Larantuka. The strong Portuguese tradition that blends perfectly is what makes locals of Larantuka known as the Swart Portuguesan or Black Portugueans. One of the religious traditions or devotion that's still being well preserved here is called Semana Santa, or the Holy Week leading up to Easter Sunday. An acculturation from the teachings of the Church with the traditions of the local community. Semana Santa is a traditional leading to Easter. It's something that the people of Larantuka are waiting for. Without setting aside the element of sacred, congregations gather to unite their hearts in prayers, praying for God to shower His abundant love. Respect for the ancestors will be shown in every believers attending the ritual service in the chapel. Prayer in silence strengthens the magical feeling felt with the aroma of candles being lit. This is one of the ritual being performed here. A procession to remember those who perish due to the disaster that happened back in 2014 at the Gonzalo Strait when a sea procession took place. What happened back then still brings strong memory to pilgrims and Catholics of the city of Larantuka. The incident did not only affect loved ones, but also a number of Catholic figures were also victims of the incident. The procession of walking the waves at sea is part of the Good Friday tradition to welcome Easter Sunday. One of the sacred of the Holy Easter week is called the Trawa Wednesday. Every Wednesday on Easter Holy Week, Larantuka produces the unique sound of youths of the city of Maria. Silence and peace in Larantuka is broken for a while by the sound of metal crashing, rushing asphalt or floors of Tuan Ma Chapel. The local community calls it Trewa Wednesday because based on history, on the day Jesus was captured and being put on the cross was the day when Jesus was tried. Trewa Wednesday is a tradition that specially features the local people of Larantuka.
It's a little bit noisy here, but it has a deep meaning for the ritual Rabu Trewa. Rabu Trewa is a part of Semana Santa.
After the country being hit by the COVID-19 pandemic, the many cultural events that are usually held annually experienced some adjustment in the past 3 years. No more crowds are permitted to witness the Semana Santa series of events in Larantuka. However, the people's strong belief to what the ancestors have left behind has never dampened the spirit of locals here in Larantuka. As a form of honoring the ancestors, a number of traditions are still being held, but few adjustments had to be made. Those coming to the ritual are being reduced in numbers. This year, the pandemic has forced the local diocese to limit its rituals. This time, the much anticipated statue of Tuan Ma cannot be paraded around the city, just like the traditions that has been going on for hundreds of years. This year, only Tuan Ma's portrait is being crowned inside the chapel.
This week, in Larantuka has entered the days ahead of the Easter celebration with a series of processions being conducted by the Catholics in the region. Besides as the implementation of the obedience towards religions, this also reflects the dedication towards ancestors by continuing the practice of legacy of traditions in their culture.
Semana Santa is a holy week that starts from Palm Sunday, Betrayal Wednesday, White Thursday, Good Friday, Holy Saturday until Hallelujah Sunday or Easter Sunday. This set of rituals is wrapped perfectly in the local tradition that locals have been holding, inherited by the Larantuka ancestors. All of these stages of events leading to Easter are not just merely cultural events. Each have strong moral messages that is being passed to the future generation. In every event, all ages are being involved until this tradition goes on for many centuries to come. In the Semana Santa, there are 13 tribes united in prayer.
Semana Santa has such deep personal meaning to the Catholics here. Through these cultural event, prayers are sent to God for a better living moving forward.
Nah, Semana Santa itu artinya pekan suci, pekan kudus. Pekan permenungan kesengsaraan Yesus sampai dengan kebangkitan. Sebenarnya ritual atau tradisi kepercayaan asli itu bukan aslinya dari Larantuka sendiri, tidak. Tapi yang khas di sini adalah orang membawa Semana Santa di dalam kehidupan kebudayaan, adat dan tradisi, dan itu di tempat lain tidak ada. Jadi kita di sini kekuatan ada pada devosi. Semana Santa selain liturgi, juga devosi ada di dalamnya. di mana terlibatnya raja, terlibatnya suku Semana, terlibatnya suku-suku yang berkepentingan di dalam kegiatan ritual keagamaan, juga termasuk liturgi. Kami orang Larantuka itu merasa bahwa Semana Santa bukan melulu soal liturgi, tapi soal devosi. Nah, kalau soal devosi, maka dia masuk di dalam alam kebudayaan kita sebagai sebuah penyembahan kepada Bunda Maria. Dari bukan penyembahan dalam konteks menyembah berhala, tetapi menyembah kepada sesuatu yang kita anggap bisa mewakilkan kita ke Yesus anaknya. Intinya di situ. Jadi kami nggak berdoa kepada Bunda Maria, kami berdoa kepada Yesus dengan perantaran mamanya.
Humans are naturally created by own will. That explains why humans are naturally commanded to submit and follow God's orders. More than that, act of worship should not just be physical activity, holding hands and kneeling in prayer. More than that, worship is a spiritual practice to vertically communicate with the Almighty Creator. Easter is not only celebrated in churches as it teaches believers to seek God and practice His teachings in our daily lives. The Catholic faith, growing between the strong traditional values in Larantuka, develops into this beautiful harmony of life that has always been interesting to witness. There is a strong message delivered for the ancestors in every bit of prayer being made. There is also a strong power of faith that is strongly embedded in the hearts of each and every Catholic believers. The church is God's sacred home, where people should return to Him, remembering His human nature and believe in the incredible power of the divine, which always correlates in the present times. Worship in the Easter celebration this year, of its third time in the midst of the pandemic, has been much better than the previous 2 years. Though still applying strict health protocols, people can now meet and greet others and united in prayer. Outside the church, Semana Santa feels different. The diocese feels the need to stay empathy to the outside world struggle, coping with the effects of the pandemic. The sense of festivity of Semana Santa that is usually held yearly is no longer held just for the sake of protecting the health of the Larantuka people.
Di Larantuka, perayaan tradisi devosional yang sangat dikenal luas, 3 tahun tidak kita rayakan, bukan karena kita tidak mau, tetapi kita mau menyatakan ini adalah bagian dari ekspresi iman, tanggung jawab penting dengan seluruh dunia yang sedang menderita. Dan justru untuk keselamatan manusialah iman Kristiani mengajarkan Yesus menderita. Yesus wafat karena demi keselamatan umat manusia. Dan disinilah umat Kristiani juga menyadari dan menyatakan bahwa karena keselamatan umat manusia, pada masa seperti ini ada panggilan untuk tradisi tahun ini tidak kita rayakan, devosi tidak kita rayakan karena kondisi khusus sebagai ungkapan iman kita.
Dengarkanlah doa kami. Hadirlah di tengah kami, Emak. Kami dengan tulus mengasihi dan mencintai. Kami telah memuji Engkau, Emak, mulai dari Rabu Abu hingga detik ini. Segala perjuangan dan usaha kami, pujian-pujian kami serami Emak dan Tuhan anak. Emak, jangan sia-siakan kami semua. Bantulah kami, Emak. Bantulah segala perjuangan anak-anak pilihan-Mu yang pada saat ini memperjuangkan kehadiran-Mu sesuai dengan apa yang Engkau rencanakan. Inilah kami, Emak.
Silence in prayers at the Tuan Ma Chapel. Locals coming would be joining in prayers and praising Tuan Ma, with the hope that next year things would be better than years before. People here are missing the magical sense of Semana Santa that has been going for centuries. The cry for hope delivered in every prayer can be heard coming from every congregate members united in a solemn prayer service. Here, Muslim and Catholics take care and protect each other's like families. They are aware of the importance of being in harmony and living in integrity of Lamaholot and Larantuka people.
Persoalan saya, persoalan Muslim, kalau saudara-saudara kita yang dari Katolik, dari Kristen tidak terlibat, tidak lengkap. Itu rasanya tidak lengkap. Demikian juga sebaliknya. Segala sesuatu yang dihadapi oleh saudara-saudara kita yang berkeyakinan Roma Katolik, Kristen, Hindu, Buddha, dan seterusnya itu, kalau yang Muslim tidak terlibat juga tidak lengkap.
Toleransi kami umat beragama ini sangat-sangat loyal terhadap agama lain. Jadi tandanya mungkin tahun ini tidak jadi prosesi. Setiap kali prosesi itu remaja masjid, pemuda gereja dari Protestan, dari Hindu Buddha juga, mereka sebagai pagar betis dalam mengawali prosesi keliling kota. Kemudian begitu juga ada Lebaran, sembahyang Id, kami pemuda Katolik juga menjadi pagar keamanan. Jadi toleransi agama di wilayah ini tetap dijaga, jangan sampai ada pihak ketiga yang masuk untuk merusak hubungan antara kami umat beragama di sini.
Larantuka, in its natural beauty, still preserves the importance of living in harmony despite different beliefs. Everything is pictured perfectly in every aspect of life. Each and every one protect and empower each other. Diversity is somewhat beauty in its own, being united in one power and becoming a whole. Easter is a form of one's reflection to the sacrifice of Jesus Christ. His resurrection should be felt in the lives of each and every one of the believers.
Easter and Semana Santa have passed. Praise and hopes have been sent, blended with joy and happiness of Larantuka. differences, and diversity have come together in one harmonious orchestra of peace. Samana Santa have message forward of peace for Indonesia, peace for the world. Jessie Wong, TVRI World.
Tuhan Dewi, Tuhan Maha, Tuhan anak Tegulia, Torang binagi di kakimu, Torang permisa, minta restu kekal lindung Torang binagi di kaki